Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Jacob Viral. I haven't done a build update log in a long time, so I'm going to go ahead and give y'all a good long build update. Check out my official Jacob Viral merch, link in the description, as well as become a Patreon supporter with numerous tier perks. See y'all there. So I want to first say that this is not clean at all. I'm more loud-based SPL than I am worried about how pretty. Start off with the power. I have 4 SoundCube 4500s. This is 100% oxygen-free NBX wire with some 8 gauge for the speakers. I have 4 SP415s, you'll see soon. 2 amps per 2 subs strapped. I don't have them ran 1 amp per sub. I have 2 subs with 2 amps strapped at 1 ohm, which is half ohm per amplifier. I'm rising from half ohm per amp to 0.9 to 1.8. So between 1.9x rise to over 3 to 4x rise, depending on the frequency. I have a 100 amp hour limitless lithium battery. Like I said, it's not pretty, but the wire is fine, and it runs fine. The 100 amp hour limitless is actually really efficient for me. I am dropping down when I have my alternators, as you'll see soon. It's dropping down only to about 12.8, 12.9 at full tilt. At idle, usually like 11.9 to 12.2, depending on if I'm revving it or not. But at idle, that's about where I see. That's that full tilt for clipping. Now here on this end, I have my subsonic set to 22 hertz because I'm in a 4th order. I can play down to 23. So I set my subsonics on my amplifiers to 22 hertz. And I have them gain matched, 100% gain matched. I got them to 0.01 decibels, so they're literally within a tenth. I have Atwood fans here running to them to cool them off. They never really get too hot unless the sun's on them. And I never really demo hard for hours anyway, since I'm out there getting footage for you guys. So here's my DD1 I got. That's just in case I need it. I have a cock box to run for 2 of them, so it's a 4 volt pre-out, and it's split to 2 volts per since there's 2 going into this. I don't have a line driver, I don't have an equalizer or anything for my head unit, as I'll show you soon. I have 4 grounds, 1, 2, 3, and I have 2 more in the back, so actually it's 5 grounds, and then I have 2 grounds ran to my alternators in the front. That way I have 8 or 9 grounds total. Don't judge me, it looks a little rusted and ugly, but it's working, and I know my grounds are right because I got them to the alternator bracket as well. All right, that's it for this. Now to the sides. So first on this side, a lot of people have asked me, how did I do the ceiling on this? It looks ugly, but sometimes loud ain't pretty. So what I did was I basically built around. I have first the wood 2x4s with the side frame, and then I didn't even use any steel cage. And then on the side panels, I literally just added 2x4s up to the edge. And I did not do this foam until after. Here, let me show you. Until after I did this, the fiberglass. So I got some carpet, and I stapled all the way down the wood on both ends, all the way down, and then I fiberglassed it. It's not pretty and it's not perfect. I could make it way better, but I don't care about appearance. I just want to be loud. So that sealed it off. If you can see here, I have carpet that's basically that folded into this seal. So it's 100% sealed off, and then I fiberglassed it all the way down. My only leak spot is where my RCA's wires are ran. And I have a cloth basically pried up inside of there, you can't see it. So I'm only probably losing like 0.1 or 2 in that area right there, I would guess. And I'm not even worried about it because I don't want to basically run holes and through my floor to run my wires underneath the car. So that's what I did. And then I did the foam after I did the fiberglass, and it's literally fiberglassed all the way down and then foamed. And this is where I'm leaking. So you got a little cloth I put there. But that's all I got for leaking. Everything is sealed 100%. The way I tested that was I got a 25 hertz test tone at half volume, and I played it constantly, and I felt around all the way down on both sides, and I knew I wasn't leaking after that. This is the only amplifier I have for a 4-channel. This is the only thing I have mounted to the box for vibration. It doesn't do very much anyway. It's a cheap amplifier. I got it for $125 on Amazon. It does the job. I'm not worried about my mids and highs. Since I'm doing 60s on music, anytime you get that loud, your speakers are actually going to have an effect on that bass output, because of the matter of your bass is going to be basically rattling the speakers, and it could actually break them. I've actually had them break on the doors. So that's why my doors are like this. A lot of guys have door panels here, but when you get this loud, I'm talking 63s. I'm doing 63s now. When you get this loud and this much pressure on the door, it'll start popping the caps off of your speakers, or it's gonna start breaking something. It's just, that's how it is. The louder you get, you want to prevent flex, and I gain by removing my door panels for that. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask me. This is a full video walk around. Jacob Vial again. If you haven't already, subscribe. A lot of you guys, I only get 12% subscribed that are watching my videos for my analytics stats, so just for future reference there. All right, next thing on the list. The only thing I have for door speakers, which aren't even door speakers, is literally rigged up in the middle. The reason I put them here is just so I can at least hear something whenever I got the bass down, because I don't care about hearing it too much, but at least I can hear the lyrics quite a little bit. I'm more for just SPL based demos and doing a lot of solid hair tricks. It's not pretty, like I said, guys, but I basically removed everything that flexes in here. So I took all my carpet out. I dynamatted underneath it here. This isn't the best route. You can fiberglass and maybe probably a little better. This does flex a little bit when I'm doing a higher frequency. Even the lows does quite a little bit too. I could gain there too, but I also could lose. So I was a little too scared to actually do something on this floor, because I was worried about either my peak would drop or I would lose, and I didn't want to regret it, because you can't go back once you do it, or it's a lot of money wasted. If you guys have any ideas or tips, let me know. So on the back end, it looks ugly, it's not done, but I had multiple leak spots that I filled. A huge one here, and one right here and here. I took out my AC. Like I said, guys, I don't even compete. This is all demo, so it's completely modified. I'm not worried about all the rules for competing. I just like to know where I do on the meter, and when I demo, it's as loud as possible. So I braced out here with just one Dynamat NVX. It's cheap stuff, but it worked. And on the side panel, I was leaking here where the wires are ran, so I filled that with Dynamat too. I'm a bass addict, so y'all can make fun of me all you want. It's ugly, but it's loud. Now down for the numbers. So a lot of people are like, well, Jacob Vial, what do you do on your number wise? So I'll put this somewhere in here while y'all are watching. I have a picture. That way I show you the true numbers that I'm doing on the meter. I'll do sealed. I'll do sealed on dash. I'll do kick, door window down. I do louder with my window down and my door closed than I do with my door open. For some reason, that's the way I have it designed, so more pressures within the cabin without having that door fully open. So I'll have one on the dash, sealed on the dash, window down, and then window down on the kick. Those are the 3 scores you're gonna see, and I'll be putting it right here somewhere in the picture. You'll see it. All right, next thing. 4 SP4 V215s. The version 2s were about 500 watts from version 1s. I did a subwoofer review video. Go ahead and check that out too if you haven't. So the V1s and V2s are about the exact same, just a little better cooling since the way the style design motor was. All right, now down to the specs of the box. And first question is, why did you do all this SPL tape? Well, basically 3M tape. A lot of spots got damaged from when I put some stuff in here, but I'll clean it up. The reason I did that is because I gained 0.4. So literally from me having all of this tape out and putting the tape in, I tested it and I gained 0.4 just from doing all the tape in the box. One thing I added before doing the tape though is I did add a roundover PVC here and the 45 here. So that actually was part of the gain. But anyway, the 3M tape would help a lot more for me because I had a few spots that were leaking on the corners. Specifically up here I had a spot, and I had a spot down here that was leaking. So obviously I could have sealed that with something else. I could have used fiberglass resin. I mean, I could even use glue, but I wanted the cheap route, something that looked different and cool, and it worked. And the SPL tape gives a little bit better wave travel for the way the frequency works with decibel travel. I don't know much on the science part of it, but I know it works because I've seen it physically. Now for the sealed section. The sealed section of my fourth order is 7.6 cubes sealed. The ported section, after all the 45s, roundovers, and all of that, is right around 34, 35-ish cubes. So it's right around a 4.5 to 1 ratio fourth order. It could be a 5.2 to 1 if I didn't have any of the 45s in there. My peak would go up about 3 frequencies, but I lose a little bit because of the way that I have dead space. So I do have the 45s in here. And once again, if you guys have any questions or ideas or suggestions for me to get louder, or just ideas for in general, for yourself or me, let me know in the comments. It's not pretty, but it's loud. Now for the port. Right now, my port area is about 60% cone area, which is around 410 cubes, or 10 square inches of port. That's about where I got the loudest, so that's why it's there. It was a light, maybe I could have got slightly louder if I didn't add this in, but I gained about half a dB on the bottom end, the low end, around 27, 28 hertz by adding this in here. For some reason, because of the way the waves travel with the lows on the bottom end, there was like dead space or something. So I'm keeping that in there, even if I lost on the high end. So, any questions, feel free to ask. Right here on this end, just like I did that end, this side even looks uglier, but I have it sealed off all the way down. It's sealed off. So there's nothing. And any of the gap where the wires are on this end, see, this end is sealed off with foam. So this end isn't leaking like the other end was. But I'm not running anything through here. I added this PVC in here because I don't have a seat. There's no back seat. So I have a pillow that I'll lay on when I'm driving here, or I'll have something I'll rig up here to sit when I'm driving. This isn't a daily driver like it used to be. I can daily drive it, but I have a car for that since this is only like 14 a gallon. I get 35 plus a gallon on my car, well 30, 32. But I added this in here because of that, plus it did a little better in the hair tricks. And the way the wind, basically velocity, was rounding off around this edge, because it used to be a corner right here, now it's this. It looks ugly, but it works. Now on this end, you see the door is the same as the other side. I first did Dynamat on the door, and then I did 1 3/4 inch birch sheet on each door. Well, this side's MDF, that side's birch. I did birch on that side because I had that, and then I had some MDF left over. Guys, I don't make a lot of money, and this is just a budget build. Not a budget build, but I made it do with what I had left over. It's not budget at all. I got over 10 grand in this thing. But it's doing 63s in the kick. It's doing 61.8 sealed, high 61 sealed on dash, and it's doing 62s window down. Now for the dash. A lot of guys are like, well, why did you take your dash out? Well, my dash was getting destroyed. Once I hit about a 58, 59, it's not just getting destroyed, but it was flexing. And I was like, all right, well, that's making me lose. So I literally went in there and added a strip of wood across, and then another strip of wood over it. I added this round over because that helps you gain, and this round over just because it looks better than a piece of wood down there. So, and it maybe not just doesn't just gain, but it's also it looks ugly, but it works for me. So don't judge me. And the head unit is a Pioneer 80 PRS. This is the 4-volt preamp I was talking about earlier. So I have 2 bass knobs that work. The other 2 don't work, but I didn't take them out because just in case these go bad, I have them right here for me. Now people are asking me, well, why don't you get an LC1? Why don't you get a single bass knob? So I don't care about the bass knob. I don't use it. These things stay on max basically full time. So there's no reason for me to need a knob. If I personally, as my demo wise preference, I use Bluetooth, and I have my volume control is on my device. So I don't even worry about the bass control. I don't have to turn this up or down unless I want to. I don't have to adjust these. All I gotta do is use my Bluetooth on my phone, or if I have my iPod, just scroll down there. So I have 2 of these, and if I ever see the clipping light, because there's some songs that are louder than others, if I see one of these flicker, they normally flicker at the exact same or within 1 click volume. So then I'll just turn it down, because some songs are dirtier than others. All right, oops. Now on to the side, I have a belt. Highly recommended if you guys are still watching. Get a belt just in case if your alternator serpentine belt goes bad. Always recommended to keep that in there. This was painted black just because it looks better than seeing it in the sunlight. Plus I didn't want to spend the money to paint this over dark. This side is sealed just like the other side. A little less wood on this side than the other side, but I used foam to seal it off after I did the fiberglass. All right, now for the last thing. Last thing is the alternators. I don't have a front battery, just the 100 amp hour limitless. I have a 390 CES alternator, and I have a 370 JS alternator. I've had this alternator for about 2.5 years. I've had this alternator for about 8 months. Before I added this one, it wasn't doing very well on the power I had. I was dropping to like 12.3 even with it revved. After revved, this is like 13.6, 13.4, revved even 13.12 depending on, or 13.2 depending on like what frequency I'm doing. And like I said earlier, I have my grounds ran to the back too. You see I have 2 grounds ran to the back all the way to the battery, so I don't just have chassis grounds. And they're not true chassis. True chassis would be on the actual chassis. I have them just basically like 8 of them in the back on like 4 different areas. It doesn't look pretty, but it's pretty loud and it still works and functions. Here I just have wood to hold these in place to control my 0 gauge rams. And I had some leftover runs, so that's why I have those. I made it work, guys. Been through cardio. I started with 212s 5 years ago, and now I'm at this with 415s. I've been through a setup with 418s. I've had 115, I've had 110, I've had 415s. I've had 815s in a 4th order. I've had these 415s tested 5 or 6 different ways, and out of all my setups, this is the loudest it's been. Who helped build it? Me and Jessica, my girlfriend. She basically was the one that was with me the whole time when I built it. Nobody put a single dime or money or time in this besides me and her. So 100% dedication to our time in this. If y'all have any questions, feel free to ask. I hope this helps some of you guys. If y'all have any ideas for me, let me know for getting louder. And that's all I got for you. Sorry if I was shaky on the camera a lot, but that's how I am sometimes. And I appreciate y'all watching all of my videos. And I appreciate y'all subscribing if you haven't. And if you already are a subscriber, thank you for that. Check out my official Jacob Vile merch, link in the description, as well as become a Patreon supporter with numerous tier perks. See y'all there. What's going on, everybody? This is Jacob Vile ending this video to say thank you for watching my videos. Every single day I have a daily cardio video I upload. So if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and notification bell, and I'll see you tomorrow.